Home sweet home. Back in the old garage. My bike. Alrighty. Haven't been in the garage for a long time. For Christmas, my nanny got me a rotary toolkit. Went to Princess Auto. Well, for you Americans, that's the equivalent of, say, Harbor Freight, something like that. Little update on the Briggs. Got a E3 spark plug. Excuse me, for it. One of those diamond fire things. I haven't gapped it yet. This engine hasn't been running since November. So to prove you people that just buying those regular old plugs for about the same price, you can have one of those and maybe even get better mileage. But we'll have to see about that once this beast gets running. Ported and polished the intake here on the carb. Here, just give me a second. See? Through the magic of, well, YouTube. It now looks like that I've got the carb off, when actually that probably took me about a minute or so. Alright, so yeah, that's the same before. As you will see, actually you can't really see, but I can. Haha, I can touch it. But you can't. It's nice and smooth. So now the fuel will slip around there and not get caught on the porous surface that it once was. And actually, just to imagine what it was like, I'm gonna guess to not get, for the exhaust gases to not get stuck in the threads there and cause more turbulence, and let alone less horsepower. But put it this way, what it felt like in there to start felt like rubbing your finger up along the outside of this, just full of crap and bleh. Just garbage. Not very smooth, but actually people think that the more and more smooth you make it, the better it'll flow, but actually that's wrong, because you don't want it to be too turbulent. Sort of like putting an exhaust system on a car that's meant to only have 2 inches, but the exhaust system that you've put on is 5. So it's kind of good to have a little bit of restriction. I would take the cylinder head off, but I just don't feel like it. I screwed up on the threads here. End up shearing them off, and so I tried to drill and tap them out, but like I said before, I'm going to take that to the machinist and see what they can do for that, because I do not want to screw up on that anymore. Yeah. Yeah, so I ported and polished the carb as well. Before, sort of like a 12 gauge shotgun, I used to not be able to get my thumb in there, but now a little bit of coaxing. Actually, I'm not sure if it's that thumb. Maybe it's this thumb. I don't know. I haven't been. Wait, no. Anyways, point being is that I can fit my thumb in there a little bit, but you don't want to make it too big, or else the gasket won't match up. Thankfully, mine still does. Hooray! That's pretty much it for that. Take that in Friday. I'm gonna see about getting a billet aluminum flywheel. Although actually the theory behind that is cast iron versus aluminum is that because cast iron's heavier, it holds more momentum. So when you give it, well, in a sense, give it the beans, there's more momentum and mass behind it. Therefore, the engine's going to take less energy to, well, in a sense, spool up. But if it's a if it's a billet aluminum, it being lighter, there's not as much momentum. Therefore, the engine's going to have to work that little bit extra harder, just so that it can, well, spool up to a certain RPM, which is determined by your twist throttle, because I expect to use this in a mini bike, not a thumb throttle, because I don't really like thumb throttles. The RC car, I don't know, I'm thinking about selling it. I like it, I love it, but it's going to be a little bit of work. I mean, it's 8 years old, the engine's brand new on it. I just want something new. And actually, maybe Friday, because I'll be over in Dartmouth too. Probably go over to Mighty Small Cars and get a new set of screws here, because actually part of the reason why I'm not driving this is because that when I try and give it some left lock, it won't go left because the servo is putting more energy into moving itself than moving the tires, so it'll be trying to turn left, and the servo will be staying at the same position, and the arms, or the spindle, sorry, just won't want to move, let alone the fact that everything's sort of rusty, because the last time I drove it was probably, oh gosh, probably getting on 6 weeks ago. Excuse me. I'm trying to say get it running. Toolbox. Found this in a friend of mine's yard. He said, "Yeah, sure, knock yourself out." And then a few days afterwards, not afterwards, all the while we're on our drive home, he was saying, "Oh my God, what a piece of crap, Jay! You should have left it behind. Oh, it's so garbage." And then a couple of weeks later, came over again. I'm like, "Yeah, well, I just painted it red. More importantly, it's what's the stuff called? It's a GM paint. What's this? I'm pretty sure this is Victory Red, something like that. Wait, Victory Red's Ford color. Anyways, shiny red. And actually, I did it outside. It was a little bit windy that day, but aside from the top right here, because it's sort of wind whipped right there, turned out actually pretty nice. And that might not quite show the quality, actually. What I'm seeing right now through the viewfinder, it's sort of pinkish. Actually, my camera's sort of weird like that. But this is sort of practically the same color as what it was before. Mind you, the fact that it was faded as hell. Yeah, it turned out pretty nice. I didn't bother painting the inside because just, as it means, it's a toolbox. What? I mean, again, why make it try and make it look too nice? And this piece of crap bought for 25 bucks. It's a Tecumseh 11 horsepower. I was looking around on it, and the block says it was cast in 1983. And that's a little while ago. And so I really would like to sell it, but I don't want to sell it because this summer, with that engine, I want to make a mini bike with that engine. And if I have any leftover metal to build that mini bike with that engine, I kind of would like to make something out of with this engine. Probably like a, actually it's still got the original engine pulley on it from the snowblower that it came off of. So make a homemade clutch in which that sort of would be like a torque converter clutch setup, but have a cable setup. Have like a idler pulley come up, tension the belt when the finger thing is engaged, and then have the spring return it to its, well, tension position. Now the only downfall of that is that if I see a friend on the side of the road and I would go, "Hey," and go talk to him, I'm either going to have to kill the engine or hold the clutch for a really long time and try and yell over the noise. But I mean, I'll probably end up selling this after I soon build my mini bike with that engine, provided that my mom lets me build a mini bike with that engine. Actually, it's not so much with that engine, it's just building a mini bike. But you know what? Through the fire and the flames we carry on. We'll see what summer brings, see what sort of money I make, see if it's doable, and who knows, maybe try and park it next to that thing. My giant bike. Anyways, this video is getting pretty lengthy anyway, so better get boogie now before my batteries die on me again. See ya. Goodbye.